Oh
Well,
no! What happened? What happened?
it helps when we're both up here. What I will say is I'm going to give you the mic here at the beginning because I'm going to see if I can fix these things that I broke just now. And then I should look way more handsome or ugly.
Okay, I don't know. I got the mic. So what's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday and it is cold here. It is very cold for some reason, but we should pass. We should pass into some warmer weather here soon. A lot of news today. A lot of news. Bitcoin. New Hampshire has taken Bitcoin or has approved Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. China says they're coming to the table for trade talks. That's bullish. And you see, like, as soon as that came out, the market started to pump. India attacked Pakistan. Pakistan says they shot down some planes. They're both nuclear powers. Is this World War III? Probably not. They've been fighting over the Kashmir in the Himalayas for like, I don't even know, 40, 50 years, something like that, some ridiculous amount of time. So there's always been fighting going on. Bitcoin is pumping. We did dump earlier today, and then that news came out about the trade talks. We started pumping. Tomorrow's the FOMC. So I don't know. We'll have to look at the charts later. But are you ready, John? Am I just rambling up here? I did not expect to have the mic. John usually starts this off, so he threw me a curveball because he almost broke his computer because he had to run out the house and you can't leave the house without your phone. And he almost yanked his computer off, broke everything, and now he's trying to repair everything. And now he's frozen. Nope, not frozen. So I don't know. While he's fixing this, though, we are going to do this a little bit different. We're going to jump right into
We're
market
just going to watch as.
Well, you're talking, but we don't see your face. We don't see you move. Oh, there we go. Now he don't look like an apparition.
What about
There's that natural skin color.
There we go.
There we go.
Good and now we're doing good. All right. So first of all, everybody out there, make sure that you go to X and you've seen this stream on X, right? So you got to repost it. You got to share it. Got to let everybody know that we're out here. And yeah, because I didn't do it. So you got to do it for me.
Yes. And the reason we weren't prepared is because John was like, we're live. And I was like, all right, cool. Because I was in the middle of like connecting wallets and trying to sign up for this Boss airdrop, which is going to be a CNT.
And it's a bunch of big news around that we're going to cover tonight. So if you haven't joined the Bitcoin OS Discord, they're giving away free money. So you might as well check it out and see if you get any of that free money. So
I wonder if I drop the invite link.
If you do it in the comments, it'll only show on YouTube. Like it'll show on the screen, but then they'll have to pause it and they can't like copy it from the screen. It's a whole thing.
Right. But if they're on YouTube.
Yes. If they're on YouTube,
they can just click the link, right? So I'm going to
still have to copy it. I don't think that they can just click it and it'll go, unfortunately.
Oh, whoops. Let me see here.
Man, but look at that.
Well, that looks so much better. Try. We are going to put the link in here for the BOS.
Yep, and we'll put it in the Discord too. What's up, Jay Coco? How are you doing, Jay Coco?
There we go.
How's everybody
else
doing?
Jay Coco?
All right, so I got the stream, reposted, liked, have so many things bookmarked here, so ready to talk about a whole lot.
And I just dropped it in our Discord server also. So if it won't let you pull the link off of YouTube, obviously it won't let you pull off of Twitter. I did drop the invite in our Discord channel. So there we go. What's up, Dan?
Oh my goodness. I have so much stuff on my computer right now. It's crazy. All right, but we're going to forget about that. We're not going to think about the 300 million tabs that I have open. So happy, I don't know what day it is. It's probably Tuesday because I wasn't supposed to work today. So here's my quick little work vent, right? We do this every so often, especially at the beginning. But so there's a guy, I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say that he's black because that has nothing to do with anything, but he's the only other one. So maybe you know who he is. Anyways, so I wanted him to pick up a shift for me. He said no. And then this morning at 1:45 a.m. asked me if I wanted to take his shift at 4 in the morning because he was feeling a little bad. Okay, first of all, I saw him yesterday. I asked him, "Hey, can you take my shift?" He was perfectly A-okay. And then at 1:40 in the morning says, "Starting to feel a little sick. I might not be able to make it into work. Can you go for me?" At 4 in the morning. We're talking like 3 hours later.
Was it your shift or his shift?
It was his shift.
So he denied. So he said no, he wouldn't pick up your shift, and
Yes,
then had
and
the
we're talking like 2 weeks
audacity,
in advance. 2 weeks in advance. A shift
and then
2
had the audacity to call you at 2:00 in the morning
for a 4 a.m. shift.
and ask you to pick up.
Crazy,
Man,
right? Crazy.
he may
And
be black, but he'd be leaving the next day with a blacker eye.
if it was you.
Yeah. Wake me up at 2 in the morning. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, absolutely crazy. I thought the audacity was crazy. But so then here's the thing, right? I gave him like 2 weeks notice. I said, I got this stuff going on. It's my friend's birthday. She invited me to go. It's actually Maddie's. So shout out to Maddie. It's going to be her birthday on the 18th. She wanted me to go to a dinner or like a late or early lunch, 1 o'clock. I was like, yeah, cool. I'll do it. But I worked that shift, right? On the 18th. Guy couldn't pick up the shift. Then 8 o'clock this morning, I get a message from one of the managers who's like, cool. And they're like, hey, you want to pick up some extra hours? I already knew what this was about. And I said, yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes. You know, for them, I'll go. For that guy, I won't go for that guy.
Right?
Pick up my shift, you know?
Yeah, I'd have some choice words for that dude next time I seen him in person for sure.
But anyways, so I ended up working today. Today was one of the days off that I got by a miracle of the weather. And so I did that. You know, tomorrow I work at 5. So it is what it is. But yeah, so if you guys are going to call into work, you need to make sure you have that good work karma. You got to make sure that you've done things for other people so that when you ask them, they would love to help you out, right? Because I've helped this guy out multiple times. But it is what it is. People, the audacity, the kids these days, you know, the kids are not all right.
These days, I'm telling you.
Kids are not all right. Oh, but anyways, so let's go ahead and get into it. I want to see what's going on in the market. And I doubt we'll wrap up quickly or sooner than usual. But if we do, I'll go to sleep sooner. So it is what it is. But shout out to everybody who's joining us today. Reset the room.
All right, everybody, do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, tap that notification bell. If you are on Twitter or X, however you want to pronounce it, tag some DJs, give us a repost, all that good stuff. We go live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. PST, bringing you the daily news nightly. All right. Let's get the freshest data we got going on here.
Look at that. 31 or 3.1. 3.1 trillion.
We are back up to 3.1 trillion, coming in at 0.3% to the green. Low volume at 85 billion. We got the FOMC tomorrow. A lot of people are still holding their breath. I mean, nobody is at this point, nobody should be expecting a rate cut because there's hasn't been anything that says we're going to get a rate cut. And the projection is what, 98%? What's that? Poly market is 98%, right?
Yeah.
Poly
that
market's
there's gonna be no
almost
change.
always right. I don't
Yeah.
think it's ever been wrong.
I
you
will
know?
say though that I could see, like, if there was ever a occasion like in history for it to be wrong, I could see this one. And I'm only saying that because although it's like very unlikely, Trump has said we have a good economy and it's time to lower rates. He said it's time for the rate cut. And
All right. Well, back in the world of the living, in reality, we got Bitcoin dominance coming in at 62.1%, Ethereum at 7.3%, and 0.36 Gwei to send an ETH transaction. Coming on down, Bitcoin coming in 97,062. It hit 97.5. It was actually at 97.5 just about 10 minutes ago, up 3% on the day. Ethereum at 1830, up 1.4. XRP at 216, up 2.3. BNB at 603, up 1.1. And BNB ETF, John? BNB ETF.
BNB ETF. And you know what was funny? Like, literally, it was yesterday, and you were like, I haven't heard anything about Near. Where's the Near ETF? And today I tagged you in a post about the Near ETF. So, I think there's a lot of stuff going on.
How crazy would it be though if BNB actually got the ETF, considering the U.S. government just sued Binance for $4 billion and threw CZ in prison for 4 months? Well, jail for 4 months. You don't go to prison for 4 months. So, yeah, very crazy, right? We got Solana at 148, coming in at 2.3%. Cardano 68.34, up 3.9. Oop, can't jump over the Doji. Doji at 17.27, up 2.3. And Tron at 24.55 at 1.1. And we got to check on SWI. Still down here in 13 at 339, up 2.6. And I tell you what, when we look at the charts earlier, SWI did exactly what I said it was going to do last night. Dropped all the way to 318 and then some. And then it tried to make a comeback. And then the news came out and it shot to like 340 something. And now we're back to 339. So let's look at the biggest gainers. We got Litecoin. They don't care about no ETF, up 12%. We got Stacks up 10, WorldCoin up 8.4. FET is up. Oh, look at that. Nice pump for FET. All you FET guys out there. I love FET. 71.17 up 8.3. Bitcoin Cash, who cares? Quant 88.32 up 5.6. Kronos up 4.2. Then Monero, Cardano. Wow, Cardano's not usually on this list. Biggest gainers. We don't really say Cardano too much when we're looking at biggest gainers or biggest losers for that matter.
I say that when we see it on the biggest gainers, usually it's like it's like something crazy. Right. It's usually something crazy. It's like it's up 55% and then everything else in the market is not doing it yet. Or they did have a big pump. It just wasn't like that. But it's
right.
Afterwards, or like it's just, I don't know.
I think it's safe to say that the last time we mentioned Cardano in the biggest gainers was the Sunday that Trump tweeted about XRP, Cardano, and Solana. I think that was the last time we've seen it in the biggest gainers. But biggest losers, let's see here. We got Virtuals down 8.4, Maker down 3.4, Fartcoin down 2.3, Casper down 1.6. And that's not bad. Not bad. Not very many losers. XDC is down 2.2, Aptos down 1.8, Optimism down 2.1. So not too bad. Immutable, look at that. Immutable gave back all them gains. It was at it pumped. Remember, we were talking about it, and then the next day or two, it just pumped to 68 cents, and then now it's back down to 53. So, wow, look at that. I don't own any Matic, but can you 21 cents? Matic is the same price as Algorand. Matic is still down over 90% from its all-time high. What it hit 87, I think, last cycle.
Yeah, I think it was 87.
280s, high 270s, low 280s.
Yeah.
Still down 90%. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's take a look at stonks real quick. Uh-oh, look at that. Oh,
You got to change the screen.
Now you can look at it. Big breaking. China to cut key rates by 10 points. Bank reserve retirement by 50 points in bid to boost economy. So that's new. That wasn't there last time I looked at that. But let's look how. So we ended the day in the red. We ended, down 1% on the Dow, 3/4 on the S&P, about 0.87 on the NASDAQ, and 1% on the Russell, and the VIX increased by 4.7. Still in the 20s, though. Still not bad. I mean, last week or the week before, we were like way up in the 30s. Look, it even topped out at 50 way back here on April 7th.
Here's a question that I have for you.
What's up?
I don't know if you've heard these reports about the slowing of like shipping containers, like as far as like imports, exports.
It would make sense to me.
Because
of the tariffs.
Yeah, they were saying that the traffic in the ports and stuff has slowed down so much that inventory will be like noticeably less within the next 2 weeks. So you might like go to the store and there not be the things that you're looking for, or there just be less and you have to wait until next time. How do you think that is going to affect like people's risk appetite? Right? Like, because like, if you're concerned about finding things, do you think people will still be like risk on? Right?
I would say not all by any means, but I would think a majority of the goods are going to be luxury items.
Oh, that are not showing up as much.
Right. Because because all our, we produce all our own food, stuff like that. We do import a lot of stuff, a lot of ingredients for like vitamin C and stuff like that.
Harry Man back. I'm saying that because like I'm like so close to Baltimore right now. Right. So like a lot of the East Coast gets a lot of stuff through here. And so that's something definitely that a lot of people have been talking about here lately.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense because you figure I bet you some of them ships turned around.
Mm-hmm.
Because so you ordered something, your business, you ordered something from China 2-3 months ago, right? Was it take like a month or something like that to come across the ocean? Well, when you ordered it, it cost $100 per unit. It shows up. Now it costs $200 per unit just in that transit because of the tariffs, right? Well, if you're a small business and you're placing an order of like 100,000 and that's like your inventory for the month and whatever it was on widgets or whatever. But now in order for you to accept your shipment, it costs you 200,000. Well, you can't pay for it. So I'm sure there was a lot of people like checking on shipments, and I mean, I don't know if they literally just turned shipping containers have millions and millions and millions of items on them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just turn them around and send them back. But I'm sure it has something to do with stuff like that. Because I think I mentioned this before, like with our lighting. Some of our manufacturers, they already hiked up some of the prices, like on these flat panel LEDs that we use. They mimic fluorescence. And when we put in the PO for them for 2 pallets, and then the PO got kicked back because they went up 32%, and then we got like exterior fixtures that the manufacturers, and that's probably where it comes from, they won't be here. The manufacturers aren't even importing any because they don't know what they're going to do and this and that. So I think it'll pick back up though.
yeah, Crypto King says trade war will end before the summer.
I think so.
I definitely think that it's possible, kind of like with crypto, where when there's like a little bit of fear because something happens that people don't expect, that then there's like this cascading effect that is like
Oh, yes.
overblown, that's emotional. So I'm kind of thinking that like that the black swan, but like the expected black swan for crypto and stocks is probably like in a week or 2 weeks, when people go to the grocery store and there's certain things that aren't there. I think people are going to be like, oh, it's going to be like this forever, right? I don't think it's
I
actually going
don't
to be like
think
this
that'll
forever.
affect the market, though.
I think it'll affect sentiment, and I think that will affect the market
But
temporarily. I think it'll be short.
90% of people don't give a crap what goes on in the market.
Well, I don't
We're in
know,
a
man.
bubble. We're in a bubble within a bubble. So we're like in the bubble of finance, and then we're in crypto, which is within another bubble. So we're even a smaller subset of people. You understand what I'm saying? And I think
Yeah.
those people, it's more on the speculation, not necessarily what's on the shelf, but what's being done. But I do see, I mean, I think we're going to get our normal summer lull. I'm
Okay.
still holding to that it's still going to be either sell in May, walk away, or at the very least, the beginning of June. I think that we're going to get our normal thing. Nothing, I mean, everything in the charts and everything says that we're still, in that downward trajectory. The only reason we got back above that SR level today was because of the news, the trade talks. And it'll probably, and stuff like that is like it's like a lagging effect. So you talk about, the tariffs, this, and that. And then it takes a while. Like you said, now the ports are slowing down and stuff like that. So then Trump could have a trade deal with China in the next 3 weeks. And then the trade deal is done, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's when we get the major effects of the lack of supplies. And then it'll just take a couple months to build those supplies back up, personally.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I think
I'm
that
just
there's
some
going to be like
moron sitting in front of a computer.
yeah. No. I feel that 100%. I just feel like that there's probably going to be like some kind of emotional reaction and an outcry that is going to be short-lived. So what I'm saying is I think that there's going to be an opportunity for people that haven't loaded their bags enough in the next couple weeks, I think.
I mean, I agree with that, I guess, because the media is going to blow it out of proportion.
Yep.
The normies are going to freak out, but the normies don't really invest, bro. They don't you know what I mean? They don't, if until I was in crypto, I had a 401k. I still don't ever look at my 401k. I don't care what it's doing. I just put X amount of money into it every month. Maybe once a year I'll check in and I'm like, hey, you're up, 100% or whatever. But I don't think they're like investing. I think the people that are investing are more in the minutia of what's going on with the trade deals and stuff like that.
Gotcha. That's fair. But let's go ahead and I'll go over, or we have a couple more things because I kind of finished.
Well, here, I'll just do it it was only a couple more things. Basically, so we went over where it closed. So pre-market on the news of the trade negotiations, we are pumping a little bit. Dow's up 0.5%. S&P's up 0.6, Nasdaq's up 0.7, oil is up, and then the 10-year. And then let's look at Asia. So Australian index, 0.3 to the positive, the Nikkei 0.1 to the negative. But look at this. When we get over to China, we see 1.63% for the Hong Kong index and the Shanghai up 0.5%. So they are loving it. Trump officials, Besant and Greer to meet with Chinese counterparts on trade economic issues. So we don't have to sign deals. Okay. Whatever.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Go spit on your hand and good old-fashioned handshake,
Yeah, man. But all right, so let's see what's going on. There's definitely some news in the crypto world, and I have something kind of like interesting. I like to find these little tech things, of course, and bring them up every so often. So let's see what's going on. But before that, make sure that you hit us with a like, a subscribe, and a repost. Share this with your friends on social media, so that way we can get more people in here. We bring the daily news to you nightly, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. We need to
Uh-huh.
get them YouTube views up. I mean, we do good on Twitter.
Yeah,
But Twitter doesn't give us money if we hit milestones. We don't
that's
hit
true.
enough. We don't hit big enough milestones. We need to get them views up on
YouTube.
So
For sure.
Let's get it.
Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025, at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast. All right. So there we go. So breaking. UK Treasury rules out National Bitcoin Reserve, says following the US lead, not appropriate for its market. It also sounds a little bit passive aggressive. But we know the UK, you know what they're saying. They're saying, the US is pretty crazy. We might not want to be that crazy. We're responsible. We lost all the wars, but we're responsible. But anyways, yeah, so this is interesting.
Real quick. Did you know, I'm pretty sure this is true, that the English accent, right, as opposed to our accent, America's accent, is the original accent?
What do you mean?
As in, we didn't come from, because Americans came from England. Most they populated America. That theirs is not the original accent. America is the original accent.
Interesting.
Like
where did they get
I'm gonna look this up to double check this, but I heard this the other night. I was like, that's crazy. Like they changed their speech pattern to differentiate themselves from the people that fled, the rebels that fled the empire. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
That would be super interesting if that were true. I have no idea, but that sounds crazy. Okay, so this is one of the biggest things. Justin, I think we talked about this yesterday. Maybe not because it was 10 hours ago, but Bitcoin OS confirmed launching a Cardano native token. Charles said, well, then cement your connection to the Cardano ecosystem and launch as Cardano native token. And then so Andrew, one of the founders of Bitcoin OS, says, yo, IOHK, we have some amazing news. So this is what we were actually talking about at the beginning. You have an opportunity to get an airdrop of the Bitcoin OS token that is native on Cardano. We talked about it the other day that they made the first transaction that was bridgeless between Bitcoin and Cardano without having to have a bridge or anything else. And that's pretty big. Pretty big. So Sundial, Sundial Protocol, they're doing a lot of things between Bitcoin and Cardano. This is where... oh my goodness. Well, I can't check my messages right now. But this is one where one of our great friends is working, left Emergo to work over there to take on this opportunity. But Sundial's just getting started talking about Bitcoin and Cardano, taking Bitcoin and Cardano to the next level. We're excited to launch the Sundial newsletter, a bi-weekly window into the future of UTXO, DeFi, and utility. Definitely follow Sundial Protocol. They're doing some amazing things, and we love it. And then so this is Bitcoinos.
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
I was right, but I was wrong.
Okay.
Okay. Americans still have the original British accent. So actually, Americans still have the original rhotic accent. The thing is that after the Industrial Revolution, the rich people in Britain became the rise of the RP. In Britain, the emergence of the new wealthy class during the Industrial Revolution led to the development of a prestigious non-rhotic accent, which became known as received pronunciation. So, where American English largely retained its rhoticity, meaning the pronunciation of the R sound in the words like car, this is in contrast to RP, where the R sound is not pronounced. Ka.
That's crazy.
Right.
So basically, they decided that they wanted to speak way more posh. So they developed a posh way of speaking. There we go. We
What
love it.
is this? Just a heads up, you guys, but the audio been rugging.
The audio.
Oh, so our audio was rugging. Thank you, AJ. Thank
It
you.
must be me. It must be me. It's got to be me.
So, yeah, so they got all uppity when we saved them.
Yeah. There we go. Exactly.
All right, my bad. I'm getting off topic. My bad.
No, you're good. But so here's some information. Make sure you're following Bitcoin OS, announcing our final phase of the Boss Community airdrop campaign dedicated to Cardano, featuring Snek, Igon, MinSwap, Handle, and more. Join the Discord to participate and receive Boss in your Cardano wallet as a Cardano native token. So definitely check this out. Might as well sign up. We like free money. Everybody likes free money. So let's get it. And then this was actually something that I thought was one of the biggest things that was like very understated. But the European Central Bank selects COTI Network as pioneer partner for Digital Euro Central Bank Digital Currency Initiative. So COTI is a Cardano project that we've been talking about that has come up, but it's been very silent, right? They were trying to do some things, and it looks like Europe is going to be partnering with them to create their central bank digital currency. And, you have to understand what that means. Okay. Europe is saying that they don't want to have Bitcoin reserves, but they want that central bank digital currency. So they want to be able to turn your money off, right?
Yep.
They don't want to encourage people to have sovereign wealth. So, they're arresting
Cody
people.
was supposed to
for
be a
Facebook
big up
posts.
and comer last cycle that just never emerged.
Yeah, never did anything, but
Yeah.
maybe they were just head down working, and then we could see something from them this time around,
Right.
because this is pretty big news. Also, the US CFTC moves to drop its appeal against prediction market platform Kalshi. So I don't know if you guys remember, but when the election was going on, before the election, the CFTC and the SEC went after Kalshi, which was a predictions market, because they were betting on which president would win.
Right.
And so they were saying that they couldn't do it, right? Securities laws and all kinds of stuff. And they tried to shut them down. And they basically said in the court case that they couldn't, like they were like, we don't want to get shut down. This is like the biggest moment in our business, so like we can't like stop yet, right? And
Right.
so they ended up actually having the case dropped, which
Now, was it because they were allowing betting on the presidential election, or was it because they showed Trump winning the presidential election? Because Polymarket's not a U.S. Based company, I don't believe, so they can't really do nothing to Polymarket.
No, Polymarket, no, but Kalshi, I'm not sure.
It was U.S. based. I think that's why they were coming down on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so this was interesting. I like to see how that developed. I mean, obviously, I don't think predictions markets should be held to those kinds of standards. I mean, I think you should be able to bet on anything because you have two sides of the bet, right? You have the winning side, the losing side, and everybody agrees that they are betting on the outcome. So I like that.
As long as it's written in plain English, you know what I mean? Like some of those bets on Polymarket, you really got to read. You got to read the fine print on when and how it's paid out, you know. But as long as it's explained, as long as you can explain it as much as you can, like a fifth grader to an adult, and they decide to throw all their money at it, well, then that's on them, you know.
Absolutely. So I wanted to share this and also shout out to Visionati. I recommend giving Visionati a follow. It's an AI tool that allows you to do like descriptions and like stuff with images. It's AI vision. So check it out. But this article here or this post here is talking about electronic tattoos, which electronic tattoos, I watched a video on some things earlier today that were crazy. You had a guy with this like tattoo like this, not really a tattoo, it's a sticker, but that had these different receptors in it, and he was able to control a drone, right, with the impulses in his hand and different things like that. So I think that this is a really cool place. You don't necessarily have to have a chip the size of a quarter put on the side of your brain anymore. There might be an opportunity to just like stick something on and then take it off. You know what I mean? So
it begins.
Well, yeah, the mark of the beast. But I think it's cool. I think that inevitably, I mean, we kind of have to merge with technology. Either we merge with technology or like technology exceeds us and doesn't need us anymore.
Okay. Let me ask you a question then.
Mm-hmm.
So now that's transhumanism.
Yes.
Are you a transhumanist?
I mean, I don't know necessarily. I just think that the thing that makes us really human is actually just the curiosity. And I think that we have to be able to exceed our
Dogs are curious.
Yeah, but we have to be able to exceed our biological limitations to go like figure out the answers to the questions. You know what I mean? If we're just gonna die in 100 years, like we can't find all the answers. Us as a like species, we have to like keep going, right? And then like we're gonna have to figure out how to live interplanetary. So like that whole thing, we can't just stay here forever. The sun will get big, we'll all burn up. I think that we have to figure something out to be able to like, you know, find out to ask the hard questions and find the hard answers, you know?
Okay.
I'm just excited. I think it's cool. I think that our opportunities are endless. And the only people that have that opportunity are, you know, us and maybe other intelligent.
I mean, I agree. I don't really feel one way or the other until I have to fight a cyborg.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
as long
Once I have to fight a robot, it's, you know, all bets are off. But until
so
then,
as long as I don't have to fight a cyborg, you do you, boo. You know?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, sheesh. I was gonna make a comment that was gonna get me canceled. I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna say it here in the comments, but or in our private chat, just for your reaction. Sorry, guys. This is just really funny for me. Don't read it out loud. All right. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get into. What's
the matter? You scared, bro? You scared?
Yeah, I'm scared. I
They
can't
can't cancel us. Who are they going to cancel?
All right. But let's go ahead and get into what the market is doing, looking at charts.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah, that's you. So I'm going to go ahead and just do market update again.
We need another. Oh, I can't. You're still sharing yours, so it won't share mine. Hold on. There we go. We need another cut clip, another transition clip.
Yes.
And somebody would say like a tranny cut clip, something like that.
A transitional clip.
There we go. All right. So as you can see, all jokes aside, there we go. All jokes aside, you can see we've already given up the gains from the Trump-China talks. So we are back under 97,000. We did have a nice, well, not all, I'm sorry, we didn't give back all the gains, but you can see right here, we pumped to 97,738, and this candle is only 2 hours and 42 minutes old. So like right after the new day started, we got that big pump. That's kind of when the news came out, and it's already came back down. So the question is going to be, can we hold this SR level? Because we couldn't hold it back here. We lost it, and we had 3 days or 2 days down. We had yesterday a little green, and then today the nice green candle, right? So can we hold it? The Stokes have reversed. They did not reset completely, but they reset enough, and they have reversed. So it is a little pump to the upside. We got the RSI. RSI is flat against the 14 MA right here. We went up, we couldn't. So the RSI is actually pointed back down on the daily, where the Stokes are pointed to the upside. And if, once again, we have to get above this SR level. We've been fighting with it. We fought with it all these days back here, almost all of February. Look at that. So February 2nd was the first day we tested it, right? And then we fought with it all the way through February until here, the 23rd, where the bottom just fell out and boom, we went back down. So it was nice to see that the 21 has touched close enough for us to get a little bit of pump. I just don't think we're off to the races. Now, if by a miracle the FOMC and Jerome Powell gets up there and be like, well, we decided to lower it by 25 basis points because, Trump made me or whatever, then I think we're gonna blast off. We're definitely gonna blast off. But there's not a lot of strength in this movement. If you look at this, we are still at the point of control. 96.5 is such a big SR level. It is the point of control for the data from August of 24 till now. So with 7, 8, 9 months of data. So 9 months of data, and the point of control is 96,000. So to break that would be huge. To break it, set a couple daily candles. Then I would say, it's looking good. We may be off to the races. Let's look down at the 4 hour. 4 hour Stokes are topped out. So can definitely see those turning and start to come back to the downside. I don't know if 96 is going to hold. I don't know if this SR level is going to hold. We did come out of the rounding bottom up to the top. We did bounce off the 21. We need the 21 to flip. And there's nothing telling me that we're getting ready to take off. I mean, if best case scenario, we move sideways, the FOMC comes out, it's a nothing burger. Maybe Thursday, even Thursdays are low volume. Fridays are real low volume. We may get some action. But I think it's just a sideways game until something definitive. It's kind of like the fundamentals right now are in control of the market. Usually, TA guys will say, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. Well, the charts were showing that we should dump, and then the news came out and we pumped, in my opinion. But I am not an expert TA guy. So let's look at SWE. SWE did exactly what we were talking about last night. Could not get back over 348. So this is Monday night right here. That's Monday morning. Boom, 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 boom. So this is about, nope. Come on, where is it? Right here. So this is the candle we were talking about last night. And I said, if the 21 don't hold or we can't get back above, we're definitely going to 318. We shot down right to 318, wicked a little below it, went up, lost it. And then this was the Trump announcement pump. So I can see us retesting 348. Where do we hit? We hit 344.58. And it has not given back as much of the gains as, say, like Bitcoin, because we actually printed a red candle today and our new candle is green. So we came in yesterday. The new candle today it opened at, why can't I see that? 342, and it dumped all the way down to a low of 311. And then just since in the past 3 hours, we've actually had a nice little pump. So it is nice to see the Stokes down. We still have a little more down room, downward trajectory to go until we see the blue line switch and cross to the upside. Nice bounce off of the 200 MA on the daily. So I think we just kind of move around, maybe bounce around between 318 and 348, unless we can get above 348 with a decisive candle, and then boom, up to 378. Let's look. 4 hour, we are above the 200, above the 200. Looks like we bounced off the 200 on the 2 hour, 100. So we are getting rejected by the 200 on the 1 hour. So, and the Stokes are high. So that needs to come down some more. We just got the cross, RSI's turned down, and we're hitting our head on the 200. I don't think we're going to break it, unless something happens on the extreme lower time frames. It looks like we're probably going to bounce back down to 318, maybe overnight. Definitely around the FOMC meeting, there's going to be extreme volatility. So I can see us coming back down to 318. 318's been a pretty good level of support. As you can see, we got that big volume gap right here. So this is on the 1 hour. So since the last week of April, we were able to break 300 or $3 again. And then we shot right through 318 and then up. And then we just kind of been bounced. And 318's been a good support level right here. So I can see us coming down, bouncing again, let the Stokes reset, and then taking another shot at 348. Cardano, we are below the 200 on the 1 hour. Stokes are really overbought. RSI's turned down. Pretty much see the same thing for the whole market. The bigger time frames are actually looking a little better, where the Stokes have reset on the daily. We just got back above the 21. We just got a bullish cross, the 21 crossing the 50, and we are above the 21 with the Stokes reset. So on the daily, we're looking decent to take a run at 72 cents, but this structure has to hold and Bitcoin has to hold. Bitcoin's testing that level right now, 96, 659. We've already lost $1,000 in market or in the price action in the past hour, just since we've been live. Since right before we went live, we've lost about $1,000, down 0.8% on the day. So Ondo pretty much in the same boat. Look, all of these got real low Stokes. We're battling a point of control on Ondo on the daily. So 86 cents is what is that? Yeah, 86 is your POC. So that is a very heavy SR level. And then we got the one at 79, which was the bottom here. A lot of action here. So to me, it's just a wait and see. Perfect time to pick some stuff up. FET's pumping for some reason. Not too sure why. It bounced off the 66 SR level right here on the daily. So you can see it got up, hit it 10 on 77, came back down to 66, and now it's rebounding with the Stokes to the upside, bouncing off the 21 and the SR level, and your RSI is pointed to the upside. These are very powerful free indicators, very free indicators. So as long as you have a TradingView account every indicator I'm showing you comes with TradingView, you know, and if you can read these indicators and you can use these indicators to trade, swing trade, whatever, it's really going to give you a good foundation when you actually get a market cipher or get a Lux algo or get something like that. So, because all those, so like Market Cipher B is just a composite, you know, they got their own little spin, but it's basically a composite. You know, all those little indicators are like the RSI, the Stokes, the momentum, the VWAP, all that stuff. So, and as you can see, just using these, you can tell, you know, boom, we hit resistance. Look at it. This is the perfect example on the daily. Okay. We're pumping, right? Boom, 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 boom. We blow right through this. We blow right through this 66 cent SR level and we hit 77, right? We hit 77 right here. Well, guess what? Your Stokes have been overbought for a great period of time. Your RSI just hit a major peak right here at 81 cents. And then what happens? Well, it dumped. Of course it dumped because the Stokes are been overbought. You hit a SR level and your RSI are peaked. The odds of this retracing and you've gapped the 21. So that's like 4 points of confluence right there. We pumped hard away from the 21, which is a magnet. It always comes to the 21. You'll hear me say it a million times. So we pumped real hard away from the 21. We broke one SR level, hit our head on another SR level. Our Stokes have been overbought for like, what is that, like 2 weeks at that time. And your RSI has broken into the overbought area. So that means it's overheated. You know, it has to come back. That's 4 things of confluence. Not only does it come back to the 21, the Stokes reset, the RSI breaks to the downside, hits this bottom SR level, which happens to be the 21. So it got the retest on the 21 and we get a little bounce. So the next logical step would be like, okay, we bounce off the 21 and the SR level held. Our Stokes are now reset. Our RSI is turned to the upside. It's still in the bullish area, which is above the 50. So it's not like we're down here. You know, we've dropped, pumped. We are below the 14 moving average, but that's only one negative as opposed to all the positives. So I definitely see FET going back to 77. Does it mean it's going to break and go through? No, but it's in that range. So I can definitely see it popping up and hitting that. So there you go. There's a quick little lesson on how to use your moving averages and your SR levels. And if you don't know where to set an SR level, I mean, it's pretty. Let me pop that back up real quick. So it's pretty easy. You know, you go on your bigger time frames and you come down, you bring all this together, and it's apparent, right? We had a peak here, you know, so we got all this action right here. Right here, we blew through it. What happens on the retracement? Where'd we bounce? We bounced right here, right? Boom, it took off, right? And then it come back down. And then look, we got all this action right here. So you just draw your horizontal line and you just line it up with your action, with the price action, where everything hits. The more points, just like drawing a trend line, when you draw a trend line, the more points it has in contact, you know, the better of an indicator that is. You know, and it just happens to fall on some VRVP right here on these high volume nodes. Because you could literally just go through and bring up your whole thing. Boom, put your daily history on there. Wait for that to kick in. And then just draw SR levels at the peaks and the valleys. You know, they wouldn't be as accurate, but those are going to be pretty freaking accurate because high volume means there's a lot of action, means there's a lot of touches, and there's a lot of points. It's not coincidence that when we're looking at those other charts that the point of controls line up with the SR levels. There you go.
Yeah, man. That was very well said. Very well said. I love it. Thank you all for joining us. Shout out to Harry Manback. Dude's a legend. Shout out to Crypto King.
Yes.
Jay Coco. Of course, everybody in here. Everybody else watching on Twitter. Feel free and please repost, like, and share. We come to you live every Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, bringing you the daily news nightly. And, we have a blast. We enjoy doing it, and we enjoy being here with you guys. But
we must enjoy doing it because we sure as hell ain't making no money.
Nope, no money.
No,
the opposite.
Actually quite the opposite.
So thank you guys. We appreciate you all, and we'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Peace. Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025, at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast.